Victor Alpha 3, Sierra, Quebec, November. This is NA1SS. Welcome aboard the International Space Station. Over. Wonderful. Well, we're excited to talk to you here on the International Space Station. I know we have just less than 10 minutes, and I would love to hear your questions. Over. Hey, Ronan, on the way uphill, that's what we call it, on the way uphill, we experience about 4 Gs or so, but the interesting thing is it's through your chest. It's not down through your head like it is in an airplane, so it's through your chest. And the thing that was interesting to me is my tongue felt really heavy in my mouth. Over. Hi, Natalie. Well, we tend to lose bone mass, but we work really hard. We exercise all the time, and that helps us fight that problem. But when we get back, we're a little bit unstable. Our vestibular system is a little bit unstable, so it takes a little while before we feel good about driving cars or flying airplanes or anything like that. Over. Hi, Abigail. Well, right now inside the International Space Station, I'm feeling the same air pressure you are. We pump this thing full of air so it feels like Earth, but we have to provide that air in order to feel that way. But how does it feel to be weightless? It feels like you're in a big swimming pool, and you're kind of just floating. You can flip upside down whenever you want. And especially the team down in Mission Control. It was like nothing I had ever experienced. Over. Sam, we work really hard to make sure we're ready for all the different emergencies and all the off-novel situations. So none of that stuff really tends to scare us because we're so well trained. But you know what our biggest fear is? We fear messing up. We don't want to make a mistake. And so I think we're always spending our days trying not to make a mistake. Over. Hey, Jacob. Heck yeah, I miss the Earth. I miss the plants, and I miss the water, and I miss the forests, and I miss being able to do things like sail boats and fly airplanes. Living up here is really, really cool. I'm going to miss it a lot, but I am excited to get back to Earth. Over. Hey, Dirk, we got up here at the beginning of October. We thought we were going to get here at the beginning of September, but there were some issues with our rocket. So we got here at the beginning of October, and we'll probably be coming back at the beginning of March. So just about a hockey season is how long we're up here. Over. Well, Tyler, we don't get a lot of free time, but I'll tell you what, when we're working, it doesn't always feel like work, even though it really is. But when we do get free time, I love to look out the window. We've got a room that's called the cupola. It's like half a sphere that hangs out at the bottom of the space station, and we just get to watch that beautiful planet go by, and it is really, really something. Over. You better believe it. It's really cool. We have a computer internet that we can just make an IP call and do audio. And just recently we've been able to place calls using video, which is a really neat option. Now, we don't always have connection through the satellites to the internet, but when we do, it's really neat to be able to take it. I can see my wife and kids sometimes and say hi in person. Over. Hey, Lincoln, that's a great question. So we have to pick a time zone, and that's the one we live with, because we go around the planet every 90 minutes. So we see a sunrise and a sunset 16 times during the course of a day. We would go to cupola, that room that I was talking about. We would see the the day start and end many times. So we pick a time zone that happens to be in London. That's the one that we tend to use in aviation, so that makes a lot of sense for us. And so we just live our normal day, and we don't really see the sunrise and sunset unless we go out of our way to go look out the window. So when the morning starts, we turn on the lights inside, and when it's time to go to bed, we turn the lights down. Over. Hi, Natalia. Well, at least two typically. As American astronauts, we're trained in but I'll tell you what, I'm up here with Koichi Wakata, a Japanese astronaut who's actually flown in space 5 times. This is his 5th mission, and he speaks a lot of languages. His wife is German, he speaks Japanese, of course, and he speaks Russian and English, and probably a couple that I don't even know about. Over. Hi, Anna. Well, we can pretty much bring anything that's safe and not really big and heavy. So I brought my favorite baseball hat, some of my favorite T-shirts, and of course some Twizzlers to make it through the mission. Over. Well, we've got 3 robotic arms on the space station. There's one off of the Japanese module, there's one off the Russian segment, and then we have the actual Canadarm here on the front of the space station, and that one is the one that we use for grabbing cargo vehicles. Right now we're using it because it's got a camera on it, and we're driving it over to a spot where we need to investigate a system that we're having a little bit of an issue with. But just 2 weeks ago, I was on the end of the Canadarm, and my friend Koichi was flying me around so that we could install an amazing robotic arm. Over. We get a new cargo vehicle about every month and a half or so. Maybe 2 months, and so we can get things that are sent up to us. Sometimes my family can sneak in some licorice if I need it, but only every couple months do we get cargo vehicles. Over. I think it was just 2.5 weeks ago when we went out and did a spacewalk in which we installed a new solar array, and then we fixed one that was one of the older ones that was broken. And so working with an incredible team, we were able to really make a marked improvement on the electrical generation here aboard the International Space Station. Over. Great question. Well, I'll tell you what, everything up here takes about 3 times as long as it does on the ground, and that doesn't matter. That makes no difference if you're trying to eat a meal, use the restroom, or get a project done. Everything floats away, and just everything is a lot more difficult. Over. I think just being a part of this whole thing and being able to share this with people like you and keep everyone excited about what we're doing and especially what we're learning and going to be able to do in the future. Over. Hey, Kristen, well, it doesn't always take this long, but it took us 29 hours. So we spent just over a day in the Crew Dragon before we docked to the International Space Station, and then we've been here for a couple months since. Over. Well, this is my first mission. I was assigned to a previous spacecraft that we haven't launched yet, and so they switched me over to a new spacecraft so I could get up here and finally do my job. Over. Well, Keeper, we haven't assigned those people just yet, but certainly anybody in our office is eligible, and everyone is really excited about that next project. Over. Hey, Becca, well, if we're lucky and we're going right over the launch site, we can look out that window and get a good look at it. Bye. When we have new crew launching to come up to the space station, we tend to hang out in there and see if we can see them, because we tend to launch right as the space station goes overhead. Over.